Hello, everybody. My name is Chuck G, and I am a professional musician playing the violin, the viola. I'm also a conductor. I'm also a teacher. I'm a 15 handicap golfer and a Sagittarius. And this is the first episode in a new series featuring an as of yet unnamed city. I hope you enjoy it. Please like and subscribe if you do, and let's get on with it. Okay, everyone. Hello. I am Chuck G Violin, and we are going to get started with a new city today. And this is going to be kind of a beginner, not a tutorial, so to speak, because I'm going to build what I'm going to build. But I want to kind of do this from scratch for all those who are looking to learn this game a little bit. Oops, excuse me. I'm banging into stuff at my desk here. I want to get, there are countless dudes on Facebook and dudettes who are making some wonderful content for this game, and I don't think that I'm necessarily filling a hole that needs filling, so to speak. But just for anyone who is undecided maybe about this game or new to it, who wants to kind of get an idea how it works, that's what we're doing today. So if this is your particular brand of vodka, then let's go ahead and get going. Please like and subscribe. Even if it's not, enjoy this build with me as we get going. So here we go with a new game. Now, this is not going to be completely vanilla. We're going to go ahead and we're going to use one of the newer default maps anyways. This is the Sanctuary Bay map that is wonderful. I've built on it before, and we're going to do a couple of things here. We're going to unlock all, but we're not going to have unlimited money. We're going to change this to North American if I can. Jeez, oh Pete's. There we go. And then we're going to get going. Now, you can probably see on my screen, disabled because of mods are the achievements, and that's fine. There's a mod that, well, actually, you could put in here that would make the achievements achievable despite using mods. Now, I'm using minimum mods. I am using, let's go ahead and let's see what exactly we are looking at here. It's going to say I have a ton of mods in this playset. This is my minimum mods playset. And the only mods really that I use that are super important are going to be things like Anarchy, Better Bulldozer, Find It, Plop the Growables. What else do we have in here? Yeah, there's, and then some of the dependables for those mods, which are like Asset Icon Library and things like that. Traffic and Move It, I use very much. And then for the most part, the rest are the packs and the DLCs. So we are not using heavy mods here. We are using kind of the bare minimum that I like to use. You can go crazy and have 1,000 mods in there if you like. Oops, nope, go away. But I decided to go ahead and do this with a minimum amount of mods. So we're going to play on the Sanctuary Bay map. I think that's the one that I said. Yep, that's the one. And this is a nice map because you get started on a pretty nice large area. Excuse me. You get started on a nice area here, and you can kind of decide what you want to do. You have this huge interchange out here, and then your connections to the outside world via train over here, via highway, and etc., etc. But the fun is going to be down here. Now, obviously, this is a map that was designed for the ports and bridges. It kind of wants you to put a port right here. It's a perfect spot for it. It is protected. And when I say protected, you hear this a lot about ports. Where's the ocean? The ocean is here. So you wouldn't put a port right here because in the real world, you wouldn't put a port here because any surf, churned up by storms is going to slam your port. So you want your port to be protected. So you would have it in here somewhere. I'm not going to probably put my port right here. I could, but I'm not going to. It's probably going to be over here somewhere where it remains protected. This is a nice large map. It goes all the way down there. So the first thing I like to look at is where are my resources and where is my industry going to go? Oops, nope, let's come back. There we are. So here's where the wind be blowing. And the wind is blowing in such a way that I wouldn't put industry up here and then build residential down here because of air pollution. So obviously I'm going to want my industry to be along here somewhere, and my residential and things like that up there. So the other thing I look at are where are my resources. So all my resources are out here. So farms and things are going to go out here. And where do I have some coal? Not a lot of coal on this map, and it's way out here. So that's a long way from now. There's some out here too. But where is my oil? Oil is over here. There's some over here. So that's not too far away from my starting area. So those are things to keep in mind, when I'm going to start buying tiles. I'll probably buy some right off the bat. As I said, I start with everything unlocked because I want everything unlocked. I want to go ahead and build the city that I want to build, but I still want to play the game in terms of watching money. So I don't have unlimited money. I start with a pretty nice amount. And the reason I start with that giant amount is because I've unlocked everything. So that's the amount of money you would get if you unlocked all the way up to the highest level. If you don't unlock all, then, you're going to get, you start with $1 million, I believe, for normal mode. You could do easy mode as well. I like to sometimes play on easy mode, but it makes it pretty easy. Makes it very difficult to bankrupt a city. So let's get to working on some kind of, what am I, Italian? Let's get to work on something. No, that's terrible. That really was. We're going to get to work on our basic road layout. So we're going to delete all of these. We're going to keep our connection here. We're going to delete this and this. And because we've unlocked all, we have highways unlocked. So we're going to go ahead and get our highways in now. And basically for the highway, I want to figure out where I want to go next in terms of an island, because I want to have my highway come through here and then have a bridge. And gosh, I don't know what to do about that. I don't have much of a plan on this, so we're going to just kind of do this. All right, let's go to highways. I'm going to do 3 lanes. Screw it. Let's future-proof it and do 4. No, let's do 3 because we'll do 4 where the interchange is. We'll do parallel mode here. And then I think we're going to go ahead and raise this 7.5, which is a good clearance for for underneath the highway. I could put the highway in the ground as well. It's a little easier to do this. So I will connect it to the other one here presently. And we're going to use our continuous curve tool, which I just love because you can make some weird, wild stuff with these roads. And I'm going to kind of come down in this direction and then over here. because we're going to want most of this. Now, here's where I'm going to turn Anarchy on, just so that I can get this highway to the edge of the map. And I'm going to bump this up all the way up to 20, as so, because that will give us clearance for boats. All right, and then we'll put a bridge. I can go ahead and put that in now. I will wait. But so now we have our highway. Let's connect it to the outside world. I'm going to have to delete 2 more segments of this. And then I'm going to draw these in individually. Oops. Like so. I'm going to use the regular curve tool one at a time. And you can see where it's going to line up. I want it to be 180. Excuse me. It is really giving me some problems, so come on now. Oh, screw it. I'll just do it this way. Now you can see when I draw in the elevation, so now you can see it, I'm at 3.8. That's fine. You want the elevation to be, if you're trying to build something realistic, the game won't let you actually draw stuff that is too crazy in terms of slope. Let's overwrite this one. This is Newville so far, anyways. I haven't decided on a name for it yet. So this has been keyed the whole way. I don't love that. Wait, yeah. So we're gonna change that. You see how there's just a wall here? We call that a key. You could call it a quay if you wanted to, but that would be incorrect. So we're gonna just fix that. We're gonna go here. We're gonna change it down here to just simply elevated. And then that way you can go under it, which is important because I want roads to go underneath it. Okay, so I know this map pretty well. So the main thing about it is there's not a lot of, despite this being a large area, there's not a lot of flat area here. If I go in here and turn on, you have contour lines, I'm kind of right at my contour lines over here, and that's fine. I want to, as City Planner Plays would say, I want to try to respect the topography as much as possible if I'm trying to do this realistically. I could come in here and just bulldoze all of this and flatten it however I want to. But I'm actually going to use this slope on the sides here to make something a little more interesting. So we need to get off of this highway somehow. And we're going to do so by making an interchange. I am terrible at interchanges, by the way. So let's go ahead and in the area of our interchange, which is going to be pretty much right away, we're going to make this 4 in each direction. That way we can have more dedicated lanes for coming off. So the next thing I want to do before I make my interchanges, I want to make the road that they are going to. And that's going to be a 4-lane. It's going to be our quote-unquote arterial. And he's going to come along this way. We're going to have another one. And he's going to come along this way. Now, am I parallel? I don't really care if I am. Come on. Okay, whatever. Because our industry is going to be down here, and then we're going to start with our residential up here. Now let's make an interchange. So, nuts. See how I still had this done? I do this all the time. You cannot zone on roads that are quote-unquote raised. So let's do our 4-lane highway. We're going to do this. We're going to make it straight. We're going to go right here. But then we're going to raise it to about like this. And that is way too much, as you can see. So let's try something a little bit different. We're going to go back to, we're on highways. And we're this way. And we're going to come off like so. And we'll come across here. Now you can see I'm at 4. Okay, and that's coming off. And then we're going to come back on. Coming around this way. All right, so that's a little janky. That's not great, so let's redraw it. I could fix it with Move It, but I would rather have it be right the first time. So that's more or less correct the first time. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do our 4-lane highway at ground level. I'm going to turn off snapping so I can get this exactly where I want it. And let's turn the snapping back on so I can have a nice right angle like so. And then I'll go and I'll take these and I'll draw this one like that and this one like that. All right, that is not the most loveliest of all interchanges, but it will do. I think I still have clearance down here. I do not. So we're going to use Move It. We're going to put this up a bunch. We're going to come back here and put this up a bunch. And that should be okay. Yeah. All right, now I don't love the way this looks. First of all, let's get back to Move It and let's change this. There we go. That looks a little better. Change this, and that looks a little better. Then I want to fix these roads so that we are either elevated or keyed. I think structurally I would prefer they were keyed, so let's do this. Ta-da. Okay, that still looks a little weird. Just kind of do this. I have to do that this way. Okay. I could sit here for an hour to make it perfect, but I don't want to. All right. So there is that. I'm going to connect this to our other road via a regular road. I'm going to turn off snapping so I can have it exactly where I want it. I'll turn it back on now. So there we are. Now, that solves problems. Some of the things you need to do in here are solve problems. That's probably a little more complex than you need it to be, but it is what it is. So now kind of coming this way, we're going to remake this into a 3. Let's make sure it matches up with what we have before. And then we will make this a 4 up here because, oops, I got to put that on the up thing, the whatever. And now we can make our...
One eternity later.
All right, so now we have an interchange to get on and off the highway at that place. And it works. It should work anyway. We'll see what the traffic is like. We're going to put another one down here later. But for the time being, we have an interchange that is, workable. And, the grade is not too much. You can easily connect to whatever part of the city you need to. You can come off here, go straight across. You could come off here and then turn in either direction. And now here's what I'm going to do next is we are gonna... Yeah, I like this. This is a dedicated left, which is good. Let's look at our traffic. Nope. Traffic. Boom. So, we're going to fix a couple of things. No U-turns. We're not going to turn left from there. That's okay. That's okay. No U-turns. No U-turns. That can go in either direction. I might make this eventually be more of a like a shoot. I forgot the word. Asymmetric. Okay, so we'll come down here. We'll fix this traffic. And this can go straight but not left. No U-turns. No U-turns. No U-turns. This can turn. This can turn. No U-turns. Excellent. So interchanges can be very complex and a real pain in the butt. I'm not great at drawing them yet, but we're getting there. Now, I hate all of this, so we're going to get rid of that and come back in here and just draw it with this. Okay, much better. All right. So now that we have a way to get off the highway and into our town, we need to start figuring out where stuff's going to be. This is where it helps to have kind of a high-level overview of what you want to do. When I've done this in the past, I've always kind of had, the bulk of the quote-unquote downtown here, and then there'll be a large downtown over here, and then we'll figure out what we are going to do on these islands. And then we have industry here, because, again, our industry is all blowing out to sea this way. So that's what we want to kind of figure out is what do we do next and where do we want to put things. I want to have an interesting road layout for sure, but I also want to have... a useful, I want to have a grid system of some sort. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to do something. This road will kind of come all the way this way in a straight line because then I can have my grid over here. This road, however, will not. And I'm going to turn, you can turn contours on when you are drawing roads. And we are going to do our first terraforming, which is going to make this kind of stay on a level here. Because I am not ready to go nuts with my terraforming yet. Now we want to make that look a little prettier, so we'll use this tool, soften terrain, and soften that up. When it comes time to zone down here, then we'll start messing with that. So let's do industry first. I want to find out, how am I going to make power? So I love the geothermal power plant. It is my favorite thing. Oh, and I have enough water here to use it. Oof, I love it, love it, love it. So that has always been an issue, is there a water deposit large enough to use the geothermal power plant? And there is right here. Again, we don't have unlimited money, so we got to be a little bit careful with what we do. More coffee is going to be necessary presently. But I believe we're going to go ahead and use our geothermal power plant because that will get us money right away. It's going to get us money from export of electricity. So, let's connect. So these are the high voltage ones. We're going to connect them up here. So now we have a connection to outside where we can now have, we could have put a transformer station and connected to outside. And then in that case, we're going to import electricity. But that costs money. So, yes, it also keeps, costs money for this giant freaking facility. However, in the long run, it's good to have this down now while I can afford it. Now, some terraforming is going to need to take place. So we need this. We're going to make the brush a little bigger. Let's go this way. Yeah, and kind of come along here. Now, this is going to sit up here. What we're also going to do is I'm going to choose a contour line like here and then flatten down here, because we will also have industry down here and or, stuff like fishing. Na fishing. All right, and then up here. Oops, got a little water there. So what we will do is I'm going to click run on the game. I have the game paused and then unrun, and boom, no more water. All right. So we need a little grid down here. We definitely need a road. I like using these alleys for residential, for individual homes, but I do not like using that road for large industrial facilities because I don't like that. Actually, I kind of did like it. So we're going to come 90. Yeah. I do like it for these large facilities because big-ass trucks have to come through there. So 90 degrees. There we go. So now we have this. Now, I want to also talk about road hierarchy, where road hierarchy is where you go from largest, fastest roads down to smallest, lowest speed roads. And it helps move traffic. So obviously our highway is our highest speed road, where you're not going to have a lot of places. There's no stoplights. There's no zoning on the highway. You have some interchanges like this, but they are usually pretty far apart. And traffic moves at the highest possible speed. So then next you have arterials, which are going to be a road like this or a road like this, which are going to be the main local way for people and traffic to get from place to place. Most of the time on arterials, you're going to have minimum zoning, and you're going to want to not have as many connections, meaning stoplights and things like that, because you are going to want to get from place to place once you're off the highway. That's why that's an arterial. Then you have connectors. Connectors get you from the arterials, which move you around locally in your city. They connect you. We're connected. They get you from the arterials to the local roads where people live. So you want to make your roads thusly. Let me go ahead and get this headed out in this direction. I still have anarchy turned on. I'm going to turn it off for now because I don't want to use it too much where I don't have to. And I'm going to put a roundabout, which I love using, a nice large one right here. That will help traffic move here, that there's no signal. There's a signal here, but there's no signal here, and larger trucks can make this larger roundabout. Right. So, as I said, this is an arterial. With industry, it's a little different because you don't necessarily have local roads for industry. You don't want industry semis on local roads and things like that. So we are going to zone on these roads. But I don't want too many connections from the area where I'm zoning industry to this arterial. So we're going to have a minimum amount of those. We'll put one here. And then there's one here. And then we're going to kind of come along here. And I'm going to connect at an angle. Am I over the edge? Yes. So let's just make sure. I'll make this brush a lot smaller. When you're using this is like the super flatten brush. You right-click on the elevation you want and then just use it. So now I can connect this road to right here. And I'm not going to put a roundabout there because it's going to be in the way. And then I'm going to put another road coming across parallel. No, I'm not. Well, off of here, I want 90 degrees. So, come on. Sometimes you have to put the roads through in order to do that, and then you can just what's happening here? Something's in the way. Fine. I have to turn anarchy on for this. And then I delete these little nubs at the end here like so. And then we'll do one more off of this roundabout to right here. And then this is all fine. We will connect these up thusly. And then this one thusly. And now we have an area for industry. So that's enough for now. Even though I'm playing with everything unlocked, I still like to try to build from small to large. I'm not going to just start plopping down skyscrapers, and chemical plants right away. So this is fine for now. Now we're going to work on our residential. Residential and commercial. Make sure this is turned on. And we're going to bring a road down to here. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do continuous curve off of there. Actually, first thing we're going to do is come at 90 degrees. And then we are going to follow the contours of this kind of top level. And then let's come back here. We'll get another one of these coming down here. Now, I could make these 4 lanes right off the bat, and I may yet do that. we will see what I decide. Oops, let's make sure we are. Yeah, oop, doop, 90. Come on, come on. Sometimes clicking don't work. So here, come off it. All right, that's close enough. Close enough for government work, as they say. So I have followed that contour line. So everything in here is flat, which is excellent. Everything in here is not, which is still excellent. So now we can work on making kind of a grid. And so we have a road. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make these both larger. No, come on. There we go. And because I love roundabouts, we're going to put some roundabouts. Because this is going to always be more residential, we're not going to put the large-sized roundabouts. We are going to put smaller ones. Still not the smallest, but, because there will be truck traffic through here, people got to move in. So now we'll start with our smaller roads. We're going to, let's get straight. And we'll come across here. And we'll come across here. And we don't have another one of these, so we will make one. Make sure we're at 90 degrees. Bingo. And then we will continue these roads as such. Like so. And then we're going to do this. And then I think we can connect that through. All right, so far so good. Now again, we don't want that many coming off of the main road. So we will just put these roads in here like so. Now we have a pretty decent looking grid. These roads are less of an arterial and more of a connector, so we can have other roads coming off as I want to. But, it is what it is. Now, we are also going to connect this up across the way, which means we need to adjust these highways. They need to be raised like so. I think that ought to do it. Nope, that was a 4-lane guy. Raised, so I gotta fix it. Okay. So, you want as many quote-unquote connections as you can get. Now, I want to connect this to over here, but in order to do so, I've got to move these. So that's easy if you are using Move It. So if you're using vanilla, well, you got to find another spot to do that. And then right across. You want to make traffic be able to get from place to place without getting on the highway for sure. So here's a very basic road layout as we have so far. I'm going to go ahead and put in some local roads and some other little details before we start zoning, and I'm going to do that in time lapse. So I'll see you at the end. Okay. So I've put in some smaller local roads, added to the grid a little bit. And what we have now is our basic layout. So if you are playing actual normal mode without everything unlocked and no mods, no mods that doesn't really matter. But what you would want to do is maybe not something quite this complex. I don't know. But I've gone ahead and just put in the infrastructure that I think we can use to get zoning and hit play. So we're going to go ahead and zone some industrial first. And in which direction are we going? We are going in that direction. I wanted to see, where is my farming? Yeah, so I could put a farm here and then obviously all out there. Farms are important early on in the game because you need to make money somehow. I'm not going to use the paint bucket. I'm going to zone as I see fit. And let's go ahead. We'll zone some industry here and here. I just like to choose how I want to zone. Now, these people need a place to park. Let's see if I can put one of these. Can I squeeze one of these in right here? How about right here? Okay, and then go here, jack up the parking fee to $50 because ain't nobody care if you do that. This, zoning like this kind of just makes it so that I have different sized, more realistic looking, buildings and parcels set up. All right, so we've got zoning in for that. Now, the other thing you want to do is you want to have a gentle transition from the low density single family homes to higher density and then eventually to your skyscrapers. Okay, that coffee's really hot. I just made coffee while I was putting in all these roads. Amazing how one can do that. All right. So we're going to put in... Yeah, this grid is all messed up. So I don't want to zone on these roads here. So I can do one of a couple of things. I can use paths. I could do this. I could come in and I could draw a path from there to there. And boom, now I can't zone on this side, right? And that's a nice way to do it. And I may actually wind up doing that, but let's get rid of that. Right. Or I could use one of a couple of tools. I could use this zone tools, and I could say, you got to click update road. I could say no, 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 no. And now I have zoning here. And then I could also say no, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, no. And now I can only zone on these cross streets. And, that's a way to do it. Oops, go bye-bye. Okay. So we're going to do it that way for now. It's up to you. So we're going to put in some... I really don't like this way this grid is. So I've got a 3 and a 2 and a thing and a whatever. So let's go ahead and we're going to put in... I'm going to put in some industry here, some industry here. Not industry, I'm sorry, some commercial. We'll put commercial on the other side like that. We'll put some commercial over here. Now, a lot of these parcels, these blocks are pretty small. So I have to also decide, where am I going to put things like a hospital, which you kind of want to get in right away. I have a couple of choices. I really like the Netherlands Hospital, and I like this northeast one. That has 6 ambulances. This has 7 and a little higher patient capacity. The upkeep is substantial. The upkeep is not substantial. So, which one are we going to use? We're going to use this one. And we're going to put it right here because it has access, easy access to these arterials and to the highway. Whenever I do a hospital, I like to then also do parking. So we're going to have parking. I'm using the 2-way parking alley here. Parking. Now, while I'm here, I can go ahead and upgrade this. It does not increase the footprint, so we dig that. Hospital. Then we're going to do our death care because people are going to start dying the second they move in. Trust me. For death care, we definitely like the Netherlands crematorium, the regular cemetery, the regular crematorium. The vanilla ones are pretty large and they're in the way. The Netherlands cemetery is a nice size and looks really nice. But I think we're going to go ahead with this one because we got 18 hearses. We only have 10 here. 18 and then, yeah, this has 12. So 18 it is. Now it's a little morbid, but we'll put him right by the hospital. And we're going to upgrade him once. You can put as many of these as you want on that asset. Okay. Want to have that in place. I'm going to wait on police and fire, and I'm going to wait on schools until people actually move in. And now we're going to start zoning residential. So I've already set it up so that we have, zoning only on these cross streets. So we're going to do a mix of zoning. I'm going to use these Netherlands houses because they're really small, and we're going to put them right here, and we're going to put them right here. And then I'll get into some larger homes. So we'll go here, just regular North American, and then I use a mix of North American and UK because the UK homes look pretty cool. And then we'll do some more. Now, I want to do the UK here. We'll split these up like so. And then North American. I am North American, as if you couldn't tell by my lack of an accent, or, well, just regular old American accent, I suppose. And then, ooh, that is not straight. How did I make that not straight? Let's fix that. Let's see if I can fix it. Yeah, that's better. Let's fix this whole road. I botched that. I mean, not really a big deal when it all comes down to it. But it can really mess with your zoning. All right, and I'm going to zone some medium density kind of as we come this way. So now here, over by the hospital, we will put some medium density. And for that, we're talking row homes. And I like these New England row homes. Let's mess with the zoning a little bit more. We're going to say no, no, no. I think it did that already. And no, no, no. Cool. You go away. Let's put our New England. These are the coolest looking of the row homes. But then I do want zoning nuts. I do want zoning here. Yes, thank you. Oops. There. All right. And we're going to go like this, and we're going to go like that. Cool beans. And then we're going to put some more here, and we're going to put some more here. We're going to need some more commercial, so we're going to put some here, here, and then I'm going to put a couple of, no, I'm not. We'll do New England style here. Okay, I think we're ready to go ahead and press play. So let's do that. Hit space bar, if you will, and boom, Here comes some stuff. Oh, you know what I don't have? Hit pause again. There's no water or sewer. So, how do I want to do water? I could do a pumping station in the water. I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to put a treatment plant here. And I'm going to do that while I can still afford it, because pretty soon I'm not going to be able to. Or, yeah, let's do this. Show you a neat trick on how you get roads to kind of come down here without, excuse me, without a lot of, obviously you can't have a road come right down this. So you use this tool, slope terrain, right click where you want your elevation to eventually be, and then come up here and it'll come down like that. The trick though is, will this be acceptable? 8.5, 7, and not really. So, I mean, I could do it. The game will let me do it, but I'm trying to be as realistic as possible. So we're going to have to make this a little higher on the bottom. Right click, somewhere good. Yeah, somewhere like this. That's a little high out here. Ugh, don't love it. But now, kind of go like that. Now when we do this, we can click like right here and come down. This should be something more like 5 or 6. Yeah, 6 is much better. And then we're going to kind of come this way. And we're going to go this way. All right. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to, and this is the kind of cool things you can do, while you're working on your city, is you can say, hey, I think I want to do this. Let's make this a little smaller. Right? And then you can go into your road tools here, and you can key this street, because obviously you cannot have elevation over, or you can't have zoning on that. And then boom. Okay. So now I can put I'm going to get rid of these trees while I'm thinking about it. Go to trees, select multiples, unclick the snapping, move this up to like 100, and then right click and say goodbye to your trees. Right click and hold. Okay. So let's go ahead and get that water treatment plant in. I don't like to do this so early because it's a lot of upkeep, but it also is kind of future-proofs what I'm doing here. Boom. And I'm going to upgrade it early. I'm going to do one of these, and I'm going to do this. I have room to upgrade it further, which is outstanding. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is key this. I'm going to put another road coming down. So these are the things I think about and then say, hey, that's a cool idea. Okay, I'm doing a little more than I had wanted to do so early in the game, but, inspiration struck me, and that's what we're doing. Okay, so anyways, that's our water treatment problem. We will also get us some water from down here using this guy, because it does not require a lot of upkeep, and it gives us a decent amount of water to get started. Let us make sure everything is connected. So, I'm sorry, I can't help with the Iron Man thing. Okay, so yeah, that's all good. Electricity is all good. Hit play. Save. We shouldn't be experiencing any problem right now. So, we are building things. We got medium density, we got low density, single family, we've got a hospital, crematorium, some commercial over here, industry over here. Why is my industry not spawning? I will never know how this game works sometimes. But it is what it is. Okay. So the next thing I want to do, and I want to get this set right away, is I'm going to go over here to the money. Obviously, we are hemorrhaging money at the moment, and that's fine. That will get better. We're going to go to services, and we're going to pop these all down to 70. You could pop them down to 60 if you wanted to. 70 will do for now. You'll get some notifications in your little Twitter feed over there about people complaining about this, that, or what have you. But this will save us some money in the time being. Oh, wow, we're actually making money already. That's going to change because of the upkeep on some of this stuff. Now, what we currently don't have is any production of any kind. Like, we're not making anything. We're not farming, and we're not mining, and we're not fishing. No, fishing. So, what we have to do is, first of all, we got to wait for some people to move in. I'm going to pop this ahead faster so all this stuff spawns in and kind of let things grow, and then we'll see what we see. Here come some people to our city. Okay, where's this guy going? Let's see where he's going. He is going. He doesn't know where he's going. Make us go a little faster. La 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 la. He's going to get off the highway. Yes, he's going to get off the highway. He's going to come down here, stop at the stoplight, make a left, head this way, stop at the stoplight, turn left. And it looks like they're going to move into their new home. He's going to turn right. And he's going to come, where's he going? Well, he's coming all the way down here, ain't he? Oh, look at that. How about that? Okay, so we don't need to follow him anymore. Anyways, things are spawning and have spawned. Right now, we only have demand for high-density housing. So, we're going to put our high-density housing... Oh, where are we? Our high-density... We're not going to put skyscrapers yet. We are going to put some low-income housing. And I'm going to put that out here by the highway. Oops. As you will see, you cannot put housing here. I mean, you could, but we're not going to because it's horribly polluted. So generally, lower income housing is going to be by the highway, is going to be in more questionably environmental areas. Sounds horrible, when I say it out loud, but it is what it is. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put, because I don't want giant high rises yet, we're going to scroll down here to our European, Eastern European low density housing. We're going to put some here, and we're going to put some here. And that should get rid of our demand for that. We have demand for office now. So office, we're going to put that. We're going to put some office by the hospital. And nobody lives over here. That's why it's orange. And we'll put some more right there. Okay. Yeah, here comes our... All right, we got some more demand for single-family homes, so let's get those in. Let's think about a school. And this is where our Netherlands pack is going to come in handy again. So, one elementary school here, because this is a nice small asset. This asset is enormous. I mean, you could put it here, but it's just too big. It's a nice looking thing if you're like out in the suburbs, out over here maybe. But we're kind of making a small town, so to speak. So we want to find a smaller asset. So I could do the Northeast Elementary School. That student capacity of 1,200. I could do this. That's only 1,000. Less upkeep, though. And I can expand it. I can also expand this. This gives us some plus in well-being and outdoor recreation. So let's go ahead and get us one school. Now, you'll see this is snapping weird, and it's doing that because there's no zoning there. So let us zone properly using this mod. Let's see if that did the trick. It did. So this doesn't really fit, though. You know what? I'm turning the snapping off. I'm going to freaking put it down myself. It does not really fit. So we're going to have to put it here. And that's fine. Ta-da. There's our school. All right, we've got some medium density demand going, so let's get those row homes in that I talked about earlier. Ba-boom and ba-boom. Let's just kind of do that much. As you can see, we've got a nice little residential neighborhood. It's a little bit cookie cutter for me, but this is in town. Eventually, this is all going to be redeveloped, I'm sure. But we are moving it along. We need a little more industry. We need places for people to work. Okay. Now, this is a good spot for a park right here. Boy, that's terrible. Let's redraw that. Oops. Ta-da. Much better. Let us put in, we need parks because people are going to start complaining about lack of entertainment. That means there's no parks. So this is a rather sizable area. We could put something like this. Yeah, that looks okay. And then we could put some, I'm going to have to replace this, though. So it's on the corner. Boom. If you're wondering when and if this video will ever end, we're going to go to 1,000 people. Yeah, that's cool. And then we're going to put... So yeah, this video is going to go to 1,000. This one goes to 11. Maybe we can put the basketball here. No, we'll put it up here too. And then we'll put a tiny parking lot right here. You thought I was kidding? It is a tiny parking lot. We could probably put the modest one here. Yup. Because people got to park, yo. And we've got some medium density, so people definitely have to park. I'm going to draw in, this is some detail stuff that I don't always do right away, but we're going to draw in some paths here that kind of go every which way. that. We'll put one connecting here. And we'll put one connecting here. I mean, it's up to you how you want to do this. Now, we have a roundabout. We have 5 million crosswalks right here. So we want to get rid of those. Go to your road tools. Right-click. I think we don't want we don't want this. And I don't think we want these for now. We may put those back. We haven't talked about bikes yet. That'll be in our next episode. But for now, we're up to 561 people. Let's upgrade the school. Excellent. We're going to give the school a playground. And then we're going to give the school some parking. I think one-way parking is better here. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do, pig. And then I might put another little parking lot across the street. Ta-da. Okay. And then you can go into these and actually charge people for parking if you want. I'm not going to. We will eventually make some money. Okay. So we're making some money here with our service trade and our service fees. Taxation. I'm not going to mess with residential taxes yet, but I am going to pop these up to 11. And then we've got some low density need. So let's make some larger homes down here as we get closer to the water. Actually, we're not going to make them that large. I don't know why we're not getting 3 deep homes here. I could place them. Let's do that. So this is the Find It mod. And I'm going to go to Buildings. I'm going to go to Filters, Low Density, and then I'm going to scroll down to our NA ones. We don't want waterfront yet. And 2x5 we don't need. 2x3 I think are what we want. We're going to put a little gap just for fun, and boom. Now we've got homes. So, ta-da. People will continue to move in. What do we have demand for? Industry and medium. So we're getting into town here a little bit, and I think we can start with some higher density, larger buildings. So we're going to go to, let's go to the New England style and put a couple of those there and put a couple of those there. And we don't really have, well, that demand is going to go fast. So let's go back up here. We don't really have a lot of room for, we could put some homes out here. Let's put these UK semi-detached out on this more main road here in between those. I like that, the look of those. I could have put some mixed out there, and then we're going to do the same. Actually, that's going to use up our demand. Let's get some more industry put in. Uh-oh. Garbage piling up. Do you know why? I know why. Because there's no dump. The two things I always forget are I forget to place garbage and I forget to place the road maintenance building. So we're going to buy a couple of tiles. Let me look where my industry is going. It's going that way. So I'm going to buy a couple of tiles. This one, and that one. And we are going to continue our road out here. And let's get our garbage put down. We cannot afford an industrial waste processing site, but we can afford a landfill. Not a huge one, but big enough for what we are doing now. And there go the garbage trucks. See ya, fellas. We're almost to 1,000, which means I'm going to leave you soon. But that's fine. This is episode 1 of, we'll see how many we decide to do on this. I like the road layout that I've created so far. Thus, I think I'm going to enjoy building on this city. I hope this was helpful to you. I hope that you learned a little bit of how the game works if you didn't know already, and maybe you learned a little something new that you didn't know before. Remember that road building thing? We're going to put that guy right. Nope. We're going to put him right here. And we're going to put the upgrade on it. Haha. All right. Everyone's happy with that. Let's see. High crime risk. No police. We'll get there. Internet. We'll get there. Noise pollution. It is what it is. Some of that's because there's no trees. But we'll get there too. Thanks so much for being here with me. If you want to see more, please like and subscribe. Comment on what you'd like to see. Comment on what maybe we're going to call this place. This is going to be a something county, and we're going to have little towns. I haven't decided anything on what we're going to call this place yet. So let's figure that out, and we will see you all next time. Thanks so much. Take it easy.